and welcome back to another video. So as the title states for today's video, we are going to be doing a sketchbook tour finally. I say finally, but this is actually one of the, I think, sketchbooks that has taken me the shortest amount of time for a sketchbook, considering how many times I've been struggling more recently finishing sketchbooks. But let's talk about the sketchbook first, and then we'll dive right into the drawings and the different spreads we have in here. So the sketchbook has this really kind of like cool gray and orange design on it. It has like a really cute spine as well, and here's the back. So this is by the artist Hello Today Coffee. They're one of my favorite artists, especially for like traditional art. They do really nice like color palettes and kind of traditional drawings with like watercolor and ink. And yeah, they're just one of my favorites. You've probably seen some of their sketchbooks in the past that I've used because I'm a big fan of theirs, and probably at the end of the video I'll be showing you guys a few more since I've accumulated a few more since I think sometime last year. But let's jump into the sketchbook because I think that's it for today's little intro. So typically, I think on average, I spend about 6 to 7 months per sketchbook. So this one we started on September 3rd and we went until January 29th of this year. So it's been, let's say, so about 5 months in this particular sketchbook. We're just shy of 5 months, I guess. But to start off every sketchbook, I like to do a hello or a welcome page. So for this one, I ended up drawing my OC Selwyn. So this is Selwyn. We have some stars done with some watercolor and some water-based markers. He was painted with gouache. And then for the text, with the hello is done with alcohol markers. So I like doing some sort of like intro, welcome, hello page, and the front and back versions of these will be kind of like a matching theme, which I've already did planning prior. So technically the first page of the sketchbook would be whenever I started this section, because this is when I actually started the planning phase for the front page. So I planned the front and the back. I didn't exactly go with the same thing that I wanted to do for the back, but you guys probably already saw that from Monday's video. And then we have a sketch of Selwyn right here, done with some, I think, colored mechanical pencils and just a normal HB mechanical pencil as well. After that, we have some drawings of Kaida Haru from Nijisanji JP. So I think this one's for like a makeup collaboration. So just a little bit of inking. And here we have some graphite. Kaida Haru again. I like doing an ink test with like my favorite pen to make sure that, you know, any times I want to use it for any subsequent spread or drawing or sketching, it won't be smudging too terribly. So this is the Energel Clena. So doing a bit of an inking test or a smudge test first. Obviously sketching with pencil because that's also my favorite. More characters that I was just into at the time. So this is Name Day from Reverse 1999. So just a few sketches of him. I think at the time he was kind of like just released, and I really liked his character and color palette. So I just wanted to doodle him for a little bit. After that, we have some sketches for Durin and Zhongli, I believe, for these two. It's the Durin sketches. And then some drinks I did with watercolor and a ballpoint pen. So just ones that I thought that would match my OCs. So I think this one was probably for Masaki, and then this one was for my OC Selwyn. I think I should have said this at the beginning of the sketchbook. The reason why the sketchbook kind of went quite quickly is because I had certain hyperfixations, and one of them was my OC Selwyn. So as you can see, drawing him once again, added a few stickers, and testing out kind of like more inking supplies. So I believe this is this one's the Energel Clena. I believe this is the Ohuhu Fineliner. Then we have a ballpoint pen and then a different ballpoint pen as well. After that, some Masaki and Chongyun doodles. So Masaki here, I believe this was like around a Tokyo Treat or Sakura-ko kind of unboxing. So I was just doodling him with the same colors that I thought fit the box's kind of aesthetic. A sticker down here from a mutual, and then we have Xingqiu and some Chongyun sketches to plan out for maybe some matching illustrations and or a redraw. I did a lot of sketching here, I guess because it is a sketchbook, but kind of more like really scribbly stuff. So more of Selwyn, trying to figure out if I wanted to change anything accessory wise, or trying to figure out kind of like the back design for his sweater or anything like that, changing maybe his glasses. Next up, we have Watercolour, and I believe it's also the Energel Clena. So we have my OC Kaisen and my OC Masaki, kind of for that fall season since we are still in September. So here's some chibis. So Masaki and Kaisen once again, just really simple sweaters. Ended up making like little pixel versions of them as well, making them into stickers. And then this one is of Selwyn, just more sketching. I always have him on my brain, on my mind for drawing. More sketches of my OCs. So these ones are just like of my current cast of boys. So we have Kaisen, we have Masaki, we have Selwyn, and we have Akemi. And I think I just wanted to draw some like cozier outfits for them. They have more Kaida Haru. So this was done with colored pencils, ballpoint pen, and I think that's it. Colored pencils and ballpoint pen. And then kind of just a blue sketch of him right here. This is like definitely my favorite pencil to sketch with, other than just like a normal mechanical pencil. This one's just like very smooth and creamy, and I feel like it smudges a little less because of the blue kind of graphite, I guess. Lots of planning. So I wanted to draw Danhung Permancer Terre, and he's been the other hyperfixation that I had for the sketchbook, so ended up drawing him quite a bit. And then once I run out of room, I like placing down any kind of like sticky notes to kind of fill up the space, as well as just like more general planning. So these were all done with ballpoint pen, a little bit of colored pencils here and there, and like colored lead for mechanical pencil as well for just like the very light sketches. Even more Danhung. I'll talk about this in a bit. But yeah, I was trying to plan out this illustration in particular. So you can kind of see I went from this to this to this, and I wanted something very long as well. I wanted to keep it a little bit more teal and yellow, but you kind of can see that I went more of like a green, teal, bluish kind of color scheme. So maybe I'll come back and do another one. This is kind of like the planning for this one, so you can kind of see how I initially planned it. I think it's very similar to this one, if anything. So this is in October. Even more Danhung, because you can kind of see how I'm filling up these spreads quite quickly. So pencil sketch, and then obviously this one that a lot of you guys have seen already is done in gouache, and it's one of my favorites. After that, drew Selwyn, so playing around with some ballpoint pens right here. I think I just used, orange. We used the light blue and their dark blue to kind of do these sketches, which was very fun to do. And I always like this concept of like clusters of stars for him, so ended up doing a lot of that for him as well. This is a video that you guys haven't seen. I'm still like in the middle of it. I'm having a lot of problems with trying to finish it. So yeah, I wanted to make a clay figurine of Flynn's potentially. So I was trying to plan out how I wanted to format him. I kind of regret not going with something like this. He's a little bit different. For some reason I didn't refer back to my sketches, but this is kind of like the planning phase for this. After that, we have some Durin sketches. So some ballpoint pen, some graphite, and colored pencils. Kind of wanted a more like Halloween, spooky kind of theme, but like in a cutesy way. Same thing for this. I think for the illustration, we ended up with this one, even though I think the other ones were quite cute. More Selwyn. So gouache painting, some sketches with the, I don't think this is the palette Color ENO. Probably the Uni Dia Colour red lead is the one that I used for this one. After that, we have Flynn's. So gouache, once again, I kind of went through like a gouache phase after I did that Danhung piece. And then we have another sketch with like the blue lead as well. After that, even more Selwyn, so playing around with some Fineliners alongside with some of the blue lead. And then I think I was using the Prismacolor Colerase in the color blue and using a dark blue ballpoint pen to do the inking. I actually like this look. I feel like this color combination just works really well for like a monochromatic look. For some reason, was into drawing more of like crying expressions. So we have my OC Masaki and we have my OC Kaisen for these two. And then trying to draw some spider lilies. I don't know why. I guess it says paint expressions up there. Not sure why I was drawing these, but it was kind of fun to do probably. After that was my planning phase for my VTuber model, which I'll put on the screen here if you guys are interested in seeing it. I wanted to do like a revamp and do the drawing and illustration for it in Procreate rather than Clip Studio Paint to see if it could get more of like a painterly look that I'm more used to for my illustrations. So going through a bit of planning, ended up with something very similar to this. Yeah. Oh, here's another gouache piece. So this is my OC Selwyn, kind of with that kind of melon soda float. I guess it's like a ramune float maybe, or orange, which is kind of similar to the one I drew here, except for I butchered this one terribly with watercolors, so I ended up making this one with gouache. It's just very vibrant, very cute. I just like his aesthetic a lot. I think that's why I draw him so much. After that, even more Selwyn. This was also done with gouache and is a scrapped sketchbook video that I had. So I wanted to draw him with some like associated Pokemon that he could have. So I feel like his partner Pokemon would probably be Luxray and the Shinx line, I guess. Thought those would fit him because they kind of have like these little sparkles motif similar to him, so I thought it would kind of fit. And then I like him with Rotom, you know, for wishes and stars and like anything space related. We have Jirachi, and then we have the little mini auras, which I always find so cute. I think Clobbopus just fits his color scheme, and then I just like Shiny Shuppet because I found one in Pokemon Legends ZA, so yeah, he's like my little guy. I love him. More Selwyn, so done with water-based markers, and I think it's also the Energel Clena, but I'm using the dark blue this time. Kind of like the typical 2-color palette that I like to do for some of my marker spreads. After that, we did another kind of like limited-ish color palette, so I ended up doing Snow Miku for 2026. So very much the pastel colors, and then after that I used more of a brown pen to do our line art. I think it turned out pretty cute. More Selwyn. So I think I was trying to plan out what I wanted to do for a watercolor painting, and or I think this month's Patreon rewards is something similar-ish to these, I think. Even more Selwyn, and this is the halfway spread. So I usually don't do anything super extravagant for the halfway spread. For some reason, I just felt compelled to, so I ended up using, I think it's my masking fluid that I ended up using to kind of block out our letters and some of the stars here. So I just wanted to paint him in space because I think that kind of like aesthetic is really cute if I could kind of blot in with gouache the colors that I wanted. Also added in our little mini ores as well. Yeah, I still like this one. It's really cute as a halfway spread. After that, we have more Selwyn. Oh, maybe this was like planning for the Patreon print for January. So kind of him with like a star bouquet. I might come back to this in the future because I still like this concept. I just need to find a better way to execute it and have a little bit more patience. Here's little Selwyn down here as well. Oh, and this is for my Selwyn plush. So if you guys haven't seen this video, I'll put it on the screen here and link it in the description if you guys are interested. So I ended up making a 10cm doll of my OC Selwyn, which I'll grab really quickly. Because he's just a little guy. Ah, I'm stabbing his ear. Okay, here he is. He's a little derpy, but I think he looks really cute. So without the little accessory, here's kind of what he looks like. And then without his glasses. I think he looks cuter without his glasses. I don't know if it's because they look a little bit more jankier. This is what he looks like. His cardigan, he has his little sweater, kind of like a bolo tie. This is what he looks like. I like him. He's so cute. Maybe I'll leave him on my desk for now and he can come back at the end of our session here. So he doesn't quite look like this, but I tried my best to kind of interpret it in a way that works the best on my little 10cm plush way that I made Masaki and Kaisen as well. More Selwyn, so practicing and playing around with some mediums. So water-based markers, I believe. Some of that navy blue Energel Clena ink. And then using the Languo paint pens. So just trying to have fun, see how they work. I thought working smaller would be easier, but I'm not too sure. We have the Patreon sticker for this month as well over here. Or not of this month. This would be January. I forget that I'm recording this still in January, but you guys are probably going to see this in February. So this is January's bonus sticker. We have Tinari from Genshin Impact, so done with alcohol markers, and then some blue sketches right here, done with a mechanical pencil. I really like the kind of like Duolingo look that they gave him. I think it's looking very cute. Albin sketches. Oh, I should have mentioned this earlier. So for both Tinari, or I guess not him, Albin, because Tinari was done with alcohol markers, he would have had like a significant amount of bleed through, and I've been using sticker paper, so I don't know if you can tell that this is much more of a cooler color than this color of the actual sketchbook paper. So whenever you see that, I'm using sticker paper to cover up the bleed through, and then I'm able to use it basically as just normal sketchbook paper once again, or if I want to, I can use alcohol markers on top of that as well. So water-based markers, I believe, in the back, and then once again the blue mechanical pencil. So these are of Albin. His normal outfit, I think it's his second outfit and his latest outfit. After that we have some sketches of Selwyn once again. I think I was just browsing on Pinterest and combining a few looks together. I think I saw this cute jacket on Pinterest just in its entirety, so that's where this one is from. Kind of like a cute, more princely outfit. Ezra from Reverse 1999. So this one's done with the Languo paint markers, and this is like my first attempt, other than like this little small Selwyn that I did here, trying to make an illustration or like a drawing of something with them. He's a little derpy, but I think it was just fun to play around with the colors. And then this one was done with alcohol markers alongside with the Energel Clena, and then the Pilot Color ENO for the initial sketch. So my favorite color combination for alcohol markers is this, kind of like this blue and this peach color. After that, we're back to Danheng. So Danheng PT from Honkai Star Rail. Just more sketches of him. I really enjoyed picking up kind of this color palette for him. So kind of this golden color and this minty color, just like pair up really nicely. I think it suits his color palette in general because I can rely on the pen for a lot of my kind of darker areas or any areas that are more like towards black, then I can use that instead, and it kind of pushes for contrast. So I think this looks really nice. Then planning out, I think these are for Christmas illustrations. There's like a little sticker down here. This is from the I'm Not Cute Anymore trend with Kaisen, and then here is the Columbina planning that I was like very frustrated with. But I was gonna draw like Masaki with Kaisen for Christmas, but I ended up I think doing something much more simple instead, and then planning for 2026. So I guess all of these were on New Year's. This was probably prior to it because I wanted to do like a mini little animation of Selwyn with like a little sparkler for 2026. So I was planning for that. Me finding different color combinations I potentially want to use in my sketchbook. So these ones are the ones that I commonly use. So my favorite color palette for 2-color alcohol marker drawing, and then this one that I've been using for Danheng. I think I used this for a future one, and then some other ones that I've been kind of playing around down here as well. Happy New Year's, I guess, is what it says down here. Even more Danheng sketches, so ended up using the same color palette because I've been kind of obsessed with it, alongside with just drawing him as much as I can. So just more sketches of him. No surprise, even one more. I actually like this one, besides his hand being like extra large. Then I think news of Nouvelette and his new outfit came out, so I decided to do something very quickly. Kind of that sticker paper once again. This whole entire spread kind of has that cool tinge to it. So we could do more alcohol markers. So here, doing more of like that pink and purple. Ended up drawing Corbeau from Pokemon Legends ZA. He was just fun to draw. I don't think I did him justice in any of these drawings, but he was just fun to do for this color palette, and I like Scolipede a lot, so he's very fun to draw at least. After that, we had another 2-color spread. Kind of the same premise. Ended up picking kind of like a teal color and a very bright orange. He leans a little bit more like Subaru rather than Hito. So this is Hito from Ensemble Stars, and it was his birthday. So ended up doing a little spread for him as well. I do like the contrast with the black and these like vibrant colors though, for kind of like a 2-colored spread. Planning for Danheng Idol version, and then we also have just a really quick drawing of Selwyn for whatever reason, using some water-based markers, I believe, and then the Energel Clena once again. This is done with ballpoint pen. So this is like, we're still in January. More of like a simple spread, kind of doing a little bit of the opposite. Ended up doing the lines, like sketching and then the lines first. We erased everything to make it a little bit more neat. Ended up picking up a alcohol marker that I thought would be light enough so that, you know, it doesn't overpower our line art, but kind of like, you know, saturate enough to kind of give it a little bit of that oomph. So ended up drawing my OC Selwyn in a few different outfits, which I think looks very cute. I like the sketch a lot. I think it just looks very adorable with the coat and suspenders and kind of like this bolo tie. Even more of Danheng. So we have kind of idle version still. Ended up drawing this one first. I think it was just like right on New Year's. I believe I got back from like a New Year's Eve dinner and I don't sleep until like 2 a.m. the next day. So I ended up drawing him just to kind of wind down and then filled out these spreads where there's like some bleed through. So this is what I'm talking about if you have like alcohol marker bleed through. So alcohol marker, then the bleed through. Ended up putting some sticky notes to block out some significant bleed through from the alcohol markers and then being able to sketch on top. Kind of the same premise here, but I like using sticky notes if I can to kind of break it up so that there's nothing super recognizable from the patterning from the bleed through. Hopefully that makes sense. Even more. I like the idle concept so much, so I ended up drawing even more versions of this. So. And then ended up using a water-based marker to block in the background. I like doing this to kind of make my sketches stand out, but it's also like a fun way to add color to your spreads if you're somebody who mostly sketches in pencil like this. Even more, I think this is kind of like when I started to burn out a little bit because I drew, I think, this one along with the other one with the bleed through, this and this all on the same night. So I'm pretty sure I was getting burnt out at this point. But kind of the same thing, did water-based markers to block it out. Even more, I think this is probably the next day. Wanted to try practicing more of like the profile view, some derpy sketch, and then, you know, another one with more of that flowiness, I guess, and his hands like outstretched like this. I might want to play around with this color palette in the future. I didn't do a video on it, but I will probably because I've talked about it very briefly. This is for a project that I'm helping with a friend. So Akashi from Haikyuu, kind of also idle concept. Okay, we're in this weird area. I don't know if you guys can tell how wiggly this page is. So for some reason, this entire signature just fell out of the sketchbook. I'm pretty sure at some point when I was cutting sticker paper, I guess it would have been around here. I must have accidentally snagged into some of the stitching for the inside of each of the signatures somewhere here. Because I can kind of see like, you know, you have like loose threads here. But because of that, I think I must have snipped it somewhere all the way down the center and this whole entire signature fell out. So I will attempt to kind of repair it a little bit later. But this is when I finished catching up to Which Atelier finally. I've been kind of like sitting on it for about a year and a few months, trying to like slowly chip at it because I wanted to give it my full attention. Finally caught up, so I was very much in my feels about Keyfree and just the entire cast of Which Atelier. So, you know, some brief sketches while I waited for some things to bake. I do like the sketch. I ended up really liking sketching with the Pentel RSVP because it's very much like pencil-like. So I ended up sketching Keyfree. Then we have our girls. So we have Coco, we have Agot, we have Tetia, and then we have Riche? I forget how to say her name, but kind of the same premise. So ended up sketching with just normal mechanical pencil, switched over with the Pentel RSVP ballpoint pen, and then doing the background with the water-based markers once again to kind of push all my sketches kind of forward. Even more Witch Hat, and this is my poor attempt. I just used like a piece of ribbon to kind of keep the signature bound into the rest of the sketchbook by threading it through the back of here. So once again, we have Keyfree. I would love to do either a traditional illustration or maybe a digital version of this kind of like concept. I want it to be like he's capturing plants or something flowing in the wind. It has nothing to do with this eye, even though it could have significance, but that's what the premise of this was supposed to be. Then we have Coco with the colors in the back and kind of like this glowy portion of her eyes. Ended up using the Languo pens once again, so the acrylic painting gel pens. And then this is the Energel Clena, and then this one is the Pentel RSVP once again. One more in the signature. So I wanted to try my best to draw Ohuhu because he is definitely one of my favorite characters overall. But I don't draw characters like him too often. And I mean characters like him, I mean characters with facial hair. So I wanted to find a way to draw him in a way that he's still recognizable. I don't think I captured him exactly, but it was still fun to draw his different expressions. So here's Ohuhu from Witch Hat Atelier. Random Selwyn page, once again playing with the paint pens, kind of to give that more poppy color. And then we have the Energel Clena for the outlines, and then some blue sketches right here. I think he looks really cute without his glasses, so I ended up drawing it without. Kind of more like winter because it snowed really heavily during this day, I believe. And this is like the back of that signature where I tied it with a ribbon. So this whole section basically fell out. But here we have Coco once again. Languo acrylic painting gel pens once more. This one was very fun to do. I love how like bold and poppy the colors are and like pretty good coverage. And then over here we have some Coco sketches done with the blue mechanical pencil once again. Blocked it out with some water-based markers. So pretty much our final spread in the sketchbook. So I ended up drawing both Masaki and Kaisen, even though it doesn't really look like him. I'm gonna find a different way to stylize his hair. But ended up sketching with pencil, going over with ballpoint pen, and then filling in our folds with a water-based markers. But instead of using kind of like the brush tip like I use for here to fill in backgrounds in larger areas, I decided to use the fineliner side and just like carefully go over different sections. And it kind of gives a different look that I really like. It really helps define like forms of the folds, so I really like the kind of look for that. So Masaki, Kaisen, and Kaisen. Then February's little bonus sticker for Patreon is Sato and Akemi. Last but not least, our final page, which if you watched Monday's video, you would have saw that I had a lot of struggles with this page. Ended up putting sticker paper to block out a hand that I had initially for Selwyn. Didn't really like it, so we have this really lobotomized seal that belongs to Selwyn. But yeah, done with gouache. Kind of like similar premise. Ended up using the Languo acrylic painting pens for the stars instead of using watercolor or gouache to paint them in. Then we used the alcohol markers to do our little goodbye at the very end for our text. And I think that concludes this entire sketchbook. I think more recently I haven't been using the pockets, so there is nothing in this one. I'm gonna put the ribbon back into the front so that we can close the sketchbook. So one thing I forgot to talk about, I accidentally, this might be another reason maybe that signature fell out. It kind of worked in my favor because I accidentally squished my sketchbook in such a weird way. I peeled up this backing paper from the spine of the sketchbook, so it lifts up a significant amount. So I do have to be a little bit careful, but because of that, I was able to easily slot that ribbon piece all the way through so I could tie it in the back. But yeah, this is the finished sketchbook from September 3rd, 2025 till January 29th, 2026. So just shy of 5 months, definitely a little bit on the faster side compared to previous sketchbooks, but this one has significantly less, I think almost half the amount of pages compared to my notebooks, but it has like higher quality, thicker paper, which I really, really do like for a lot of like painting and inking, and just like alcohol marker bleed through as well. But because we are at the end of the video, it means that you guys are going to, I guess, play a guessing game, because by the time you guys see this video, I will probably have already started the new sketchbook, but I'm gonna let you guys speculate on which sketchbook you think I'm actually using. So let me zoom out a little bit so you guys can see more of like a bigger spread, because I have a few that I can choose from. Okay, actually before I show you guys, I think I mentioned this previously. So back in 2024, I'm assuming, when I went to Anime Fawn, I believe it's 2024 because I don't think I got in last year. So 2024, there was the artist, this one, Hello Today Coffee, along with this artist, which I think it's Per Lily. But they were both tabling together, and I thought that maybe this artist brought their new sketchbooks because I saw that they had new ones, but they ended up not having the stock at Anime Fawn, so I ended up buying a sketchbook for both me and my friend of this one because it's a beautiful design, and my friend was like a fan of this artist. I'm a fan of this artist as well now. But this artist, so Hello Today Coffee, had sketchbooks that I was like very much eyeing as soon as I saw that they were released. So I was hoping they would have it at Anime Fawn, but they didn't. But they had like a restock, or they reopened their shop. So when they did, I took advantage of buying the sketchbooks that I could, including this one. So this one's actually from, I think, the first batch that I ended up buying alongside with this larger one. So I bought these ones together. You can kind of see it's this kind of like the same aesthetic. And I really like this one. It has like a linen cover. It's about almost double in size. It's just shy of, well, how would I call this? 7 by 10, I'm assuming, is the size of the sketchbook. So this is about A5, and then this is probably 7 by 10. I don't really know if like that's like a B something, B5, B6 sketchbook, who knows? But I really like this size. But I don't know if I'm ready to tackle this, but let me show you guys the other sketchbooks that I got from this artist. And these are 2 of the sketchbooks that I was eyeing from their shop. I didn't want to full on splurge because I don't want to accumulate too many sketchbooks if I can't go through them quick enough. So obviously I had to get one that was kind of like clover and ginkgo leaf kind of related. So let me zoom in. Look how pretty. It has like that PU lever kind of look to it. Always love how they do the spines. So it says Hello Today Coffee. And then the back has the clovers. So I really, really love this aesthetic. It's so, so pretty. And then I had to get this one as well. It's so cute. It's kind of like a blue, orange, and yellow. The moon and the rabbits. This little girl character at the bottom and this like folded paper boat. And on the back is like what sold me. So cute. So this kind of like design alongside with like the black and white and then the pop of colors. Their use of colors is seriously my favorite, especially because they use like a lot of like teal and orange, or like teal and blue, red and blue kind of aesthetic. So I do love this artist's style quite a bit. But with that being said, I am probably not using one of these sketchbooks right away, because I think I've talked about it in previous sketchbook sessions or sketchbook tours that I like to alternate between using my own notebooks or even like cheaper sketchbooks potentially, and then ones that are more pricier, or like, you know, ones that I buy specifically from certain artists, because I like buying from Hello Today Coffee, I like buying from Tricky Wagon, and if Per Lily has more sketchbooks, I probably will buy from them as well. But yeah, I probably won't be using these ones. I will probably do one of these after using one of my own again. I think you guys have seen like plenty of my other designs that I've had. So most likely I will also not be using these ones just because I believe this is my copy. I'm not too sure, and I don't remember if this is actually my copy or am I supposed to sell this one. I have to double check because I didn't bring all my sketchbooks to the studio. But this is my lily pad one, which I still like the colors of, and I think it looks really pretty. This one's just not my favorite. So this is my Floral Waters one. It's very simple, but I would have liked something with like more of a floral patterning, or you know, intense floral look like some of my other sketchbooks. I'm gonna let you guys kind of assume which of these 3 do you think I'm gonna be using next as my sketchbook. I'm probably gonna be sketching in it literally right after this video because I want to do a little bit of planning. But we have my Forget Me Not notebook. We have my 17 or Bonbongi notebook as well. And then this one, I was testing out Vograce's PU leather option. So I had, this is actually my starting soon screen for my streams. So if you guys have remembered that, this is this one. It has like the many clovers. And I decided to put my logo on the back. This is what the spine looks like. I think it actually looks really cute. And here's the front cover. And it's, I believe it's the same paper as these ones, but the cover is like a PU leather rather than this printed cover. So I wanted to see this as an option. It is also slightly wider than the sketchbook. I have to keep reminding myself that these are notebooks and not sketchbooks. It has notebook paper, not like high quality drawing paper. But I still like using them as a sketchbook. So it is a little bit wider. I think this is more true to like an A5. These ones are just smaller than an A5. It's more like around 5x7. Well, this is like closer to 5x8, I believe. But yeah, let me know which ones do you guys think I'm going to be using. So we have 1, 2, or 3. And I'll show you guys the design. So this is my Forget Me Not notebook. It's definitely one of my favorites. I'm also biased towards the cover. So all these little Forget Me Nots, and here's the back side. And then we have my Bonbongi one, or like my 17 one. And I was using this for more of like a sticker book patterning, but I still find it very cute. So it has like rose quartz to serenity colors, pink band, Bonbongi in pixel style, and on the back it says until the last say the name, because I love that quote. And it has the diamond and hearts kind of patterning for the grid. I still really like this one. And then here it says 100% carat. It's still one of my favorites notebook wise. But yeah, I think that's it for today's video. You guys can let me know, do you think it's 1, 2, or 3 that I'm going to be using as my next sketchbook? I'm pretty sure I have already picked in my brain a long time ago, even while I was probably working on the last few pages of this particular sketchbook, which became very bulky with all the sticker paper I had in the spine of this. I am gonna say that I am a little bit worried about sometimes working in my notebook for my sketchbook just because of the sheer amount of paper. So I think this might have 100 or like 90 something pages front and back. I believe this has like 196 pages front and back, so it's about double. It's actually very similar in thickness if this wasn't like so beefy due to the fact of me sticking so many sticker paper, but this has like much thinner paper, but it has like almost double the amount of pages. But if I don't work quick enough, it does feel like an eternity in these notebooks, and I've run into this problem a few times because I've used my own notebooks for sketchbooks in the past. These are all the ones that I've used. This one doesn't count because it's my sample book, but I had my baby's breath, we have my ginkgo leaf, epiphyllum, and my hydrangeas. So I've already done 4 different ones in the past, and I think about half of them I was having a little bit of dread trying to finish them because there's so many pages. I'm hoping that we're gonna have like an okay time in whichever sketchbook that I end up choosing. But I think that's it for today's video. Thank you for coming along with me if you guys were hanging out watching me go through this sketchbook, and hopefully you enjoyed some of the drawings in this one because I always have fun doing sketchbook tours for you guys. And I will talk to you guys next time in the next video. Bye!